Thank you for joining us on YouTube. So,
Hi, Moya.
Yeah, so it's so good. Just give me a second. My technical person is trying to chat me up. Okay, so I thought, okay, I would bring in Taiwo to talk to us about, real estate investment in Nigeria. What are the opportunities out there? Because you just see, you see flyers, you see posts, people saying buy, 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 and you're like, okay, how am I sure this is a? How am I sure this
Genuine.
Yes, how am I sure this is, this is something for me? How am I sure I want to invest? How am I sure that I'm not putting my money in the hands of scammers? How am I sure this how am I sure this yeah, how am I sure this is going this investment would do what it's meant to do? So, and I thought, okay, you know what, I have someone that I know, I trust. I've known Taiwo for like Taiwo since when? I think more than a decade.
It's not even 10. Yes, more than a decade.
Yeah, and
more than a decade already.
Yeah, it's more than a decade, and I think since after NYSC. So, and I can vouch.
Yes, yeah.
She walks the talk when it comes to real estate investment. Because personally, I've also done something with her. We did something together, and I know people she had also helped in terms of real estate investment in Nigeria. So I thought, okay, I'll reach out to my network, ask her to come to discuss this topic, because at the end of the day, right, if we keep putting it aside, okay, maybe I'll do it next year, and then I'll do it next year would never end. There will always be a next year, right? And that is why it is, I personally, I see it as a matter of urgency, especially for millennials, for Generation Zs, that we should not wait before we really take charge of our personal finance, of our retirement, of thinking about what we are going to do about our finances or about our retirement when the time comes. And I believe, based on my own work that I do in the area of personal finance, real estate is something that everyone should have in their portfolio. Now, it might look like so daunting to start, but I thought, it might look like so daunting to start saying, okay, yeah, it's big, you need big money to start and all of that. But I can tell you that probably you don't necessarily need like so huge money to start. And that's why I said, okay, I'll bring Taiwo into the program today to discuss with us and talk to us and share with us certain tips, because she's an expert in that field and she's going to help us really understand that that area, because I'm not a real estate expert. I'm just a financial expert and also a career expert. But here is a real estate expert who is going to help us, break and smash this real estate table. All right, so welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you for the kind words. Now you got me blushing. Thank you. It's awesome. I love to talk about real estate. When it comes to real estate, I'm at home and I can talk for hours because there is so much to talk about. It's a very delicate subject and we cannot afford to get it wrong. That's why I like to talk about it every opportunity I get. So thank you everyone for having me. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. So Buki, how would you like us to start?
Okay. Yeah. So I think the first question, so guys, if you have any question at all regarding real estate, any question at all, even because I just created some of the questions I have here for Taiwo. But if you have questions, just drop them in the comment section, whether on Zoom or on YouTube, and I'll pick it up from there, and then we would ask Taiwo, and she's going to help us trash it as good as she can. All right, and if you have any other questions around personal finance, you can also put it up there, and then we would share and discuss with you. Okay, so the first question I ask is that personally, I know that there are different ways that one can invest in real estate, especially in terms of buying houses or something. So can you just tell us, what are the different investment or different ways, different investment opportunities when I think about real estate? What are the different ways I can get into that field? Because, just help us clarify it
So broadly, real estate is in two categories, in two broad categories when it comes to investing in real estate. There is commercial investments, there is investing in commercial real estate, and then there is investing in residential real estate. Examples of commercial real estate are the malls we see around, complexes, there are business complexes all over Victoria Island, Lagos, and any structure that is any project that is embarked upon for the use of commerce, for the sole purpose of businesses operating from there, that is a commercial real estate investment. It's a commercial real estate project. And that is on the one side. On the other side, we have the residential real estate. Residential real estate focuses on real estate that is acquired to provide accommodation, to provide residence strictly. So even if you are going to be making money from, from this category of real estate, it still is going to be designated as residential because the ultimate use for the end consumer is for them to reside in it. So those are the two categories of real estate investing that we have.
Okay, good. That's awesome. Okay, so the commercial one, can individuals also, invest in it, or is it just, corporate bodies or entities that can do it, or companies?
It's all a question of capacity. If an individual has the capacity to erect something huge, why not? So it's a question of having the capital to complete such a project and launching.
Okay.
So it's a question of capital. Individuals can go into it. Corporate entities can also go into it and do excellently well.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. So I think maybe for most of our viewers here, it will be more about, for people that are starting, it would be more about doing something residential. But based on your perspective, do I need to have something residential before I think of commercial? Or what is the normal way to go about it? Is it better to first, something residential that's okay, it's myself, it's like it's for me to live in it, or is it better to just, if I have the chances, I should first go for commercial? What do you think to that?
So when it comes to what to do first, you can go into residential and rent it out and make money from it, because you first of all need to make money before you can then try to meet your personal goals and live the dream life.
Okay.
So I tell people, if you have the opportunity to do small scale residential, to do small scale commercial, go on and do it, because you're going to be making money.
Okay, because
straight away.
Then you can commercial, because I am not the one living in there.
Yes, so it is only commercial to you. But the end use, if you're going into it for a resident, for example, you have an apartment and you have a tenant paying you rent, it's a source of income for you. So it might be commercial, in quote, but it is still residential. So if you're going to start as a starter, you start with residential, but you can still find a way to make it a source of revenue generating, a revenue generating asset for yourself. And then from there you grow on and you can eventually have something huge in the commercial space. And the returns from there can fund your own dream house.
Okay. So people do that?
Oh, yes. People do that. Some people are so disciplined.
But I think money is a huge problem when you think about real estate, because like, how would I get 10 million or how would I get 50 million?
Yes. So you can't afford to, it's good to look at the big picture, but you cannot afford to let the big picture deter you. You can't afford for it to discourage you. So you just have to tell yourself, I am going to be able to do this. The journey of 1,000 steps, or how do they say, it starts with a step. The journey of 1,000 years starts with a step. So you have enough. You have the strength to take the first step. Go ahead and take the first step. Get started. Get started with what you have, where you have. So sometimes the opportunities that people get in real estate, they are opportunities they cannot consummate for themselves.
Okay.
Say, for example, you don't want to live in a one-bedroom apartment, but you happen to have funds for a one-bedroom. You would rather live in a three-bedroom duplex, but that costs a lot more. So if you have funds for a one-bedroom, you start with that.
Okay.
Yes. You start with that, start earning income from there, and you keep stabilizing financially enough until you're able to now afford that 3-bedroom that is your dream home.
Wow. So you're simply telling us to start small and grow big.
Yeah, so don't wait until you're able to grow big. Rome was not built in a day.
Guys, are you hearing? Don't wait until you have, if your dream
all
house,
the cash,
5 rooms. Don't wait until you have that 5 rooms. Even if it's just 1 room that you have money for now, 1 room apartment that you have money for, buy it. Secure that investment, because then it would appreciate, and then it would, you will be getting income from it. And with time, if you have more income, you can then, Taiwo is telling that you can then put it together. Maybe you sell off the one, by the time you put your new income together, and then the rent and the appreciation of whatever one apartment,
yes,
you might be able to eventually afford that 5-bedroom house that you want. So that is a very nice wisdom that you just, because I think most people be like, okay, I need 3, it has to be three bedrooms. It has to be, but then
yes,
bedroom, you don't have the money now. So I mean, what are you going to do about it? And it is what it is,
And guess what?
What?
Guess what, Bookie?
Yes.
So you could actually spend 3 years.
Okay.
You could spend 3-4 years waiting to be able to afford the 3-bedroom and to be able to get the 3-bedroom you love. In those 3-4 years, the 1-bedroom that you passed on, the 2-bedroom that you passed on, would have appreciated in value. So, for example, let's say you tie down that capital with a 1-bedroom apartment in 2019, and today you are able to sell your 1-bedroom at double the amount.
Wow.
You have already made 100% revenue capital gain. And that will support you in paying for your new home that you have been waiting to get. Time flies. So you can spend years waiting to be able to afford that dream home if you're not careful.
Wow. Thank you. I think, guys, if you have questions, if you have any comment, just drop them in the comment section. And, if you have also ideas, just drop them. Wow. Thank you for this. Because I didn't really think about it in that light, that, just even if it's just one, buy. It's not necessary that you are going to be living in it, but buy it.
Thank you.
And then, it's just a way for you to lock down that capital. Yes. And then
it grows.
Real estate normally would appreciate, right? And then
yes,
that once it appreciates, and you're not just tying it down, you're also gaining dividend from it. When I compare it to stocks, you're also getting, because then people are paying you rent, and the value of it is increasing. Wow.
Yes.
That's so good. Thank you very much for that. That's really enlightening.
You're welcome.
So You're welcome. Don't mind me, I'm looking at my note because I had to write some of my questions down. So my next
try.
So we talked now about, just starting small. So guys, we are saying, it's good to dream big, but then at the end of the day, you only achieve big dreams if you break them down into small bits. That is the summary of what's the first nugget that Taiwo gave us. So my next question to you is, what is the minimum investment amount you would advise, you think it's appropriate to start with, so
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so to invest in real estate, in this, I'm going to say this in the context of Lagos State. Okay. So I'll be saying this in the context of Lagos State where I operate. For you to be able to afford very good quality properties in Lagos, you need to make sure that the property has solid title. The minimum amount I know, the lowest cost property I know of, yes, selling in Lagos State. Sorry, just a moment while I get rid of that call. So the minimum I know of is going for about 2.4.
Wow.
Okay. Sorry, everybody. Please, apologies. It's about 2.4. But with that 2.4 million, you're going to be getting a titled property.
Okay, titled property.
That has the minimum title acceptable in Lagos.
that title, because I don't understand all title. What is
Okay,
title?
okay.
So,
So I obsess.
go ahead, and then I would ask a question about the title. Guys, please,
Okay.
if you hear anything that you think you don't understand, please just drop them in the comment section, and then she's going to answer it. But go ahead. So it has to be
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, it has to be titled. So the lowest priced titled property I know of right now is selling for 2.4 million per plot.
Okay.
And that is for 400 square meter plots. Okay. Now, when I say title, I mean that government has issued a release on that land, because by default, all property belongs to the government.
Okay.
So for you to be able to trade on any property, you have to have a kind of release from government.
Okay.
So this property has an excision on it, for example. An excision means that the government has released the property for trading by telling the community, okay, this land that is traditionally yours, we need 100 square meters from it. The land is in total 1,000 square meters. You can have the remaining 900 and do anything you like with. So that expression from the government is the release.
Okay, and that is called excision.
Excision, yes, that's the lowest acceptable title.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So that's lowest acceptable title of excision would cost,
so a land with that title, that we have presently, that I am aware of selling, is going for 2.4 million. So I would say that that's the minimum amount you can come into real estate with, to start with, that is to buy off. Now you can explore the option of paying that 2.4 million in bits if it is acceptable to the seller.
Okay.
So you could negotiate with the seller to pay over time. Usually they are amenable to 2 or 3 months payment plans on these offers. Okay. Yes. So that's, in that regard, it can come down lower, in that you don't have to drop the 2.4 at once.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, but then sometimes I see, I don't like our UFO, but sometimes I see like buy 5 get 1, and then they will, and then like, what's it called, at ridiculously price, like maybe 600K or 1 million. What do you say to those kind of lands or those kind of properties?
So in today's Lagos, I will not encourage you to go for those kinds of lands, because year by year, land is becoming the crude oil of Lagos. Year after year, it is becoming as precious as crude oil. You understand? It is the crude variation of what Nigeria has. That is Lagos land. That is what Lagos's land is to the Lagos state government. So if you're going for a land that is going for 600,000, know for sure that it doesn't have the minimum acceptable title yet.
Wow.
So you would need to have that consciousness when you make the decision to go ahead. You can then go ahead and say, oh, I don't mind taking the risk, because the lands that have excision today were once without excision. So, but you need to know what you're getting yourself into.
And based on your experience, what are the risks? Like, can the government come today and say, you know what, I'm not doing again? Or what? So what are the Omonile people said, we are not selling again? What are the risks that can come up?
Okay, so if you have this kind of offer from an estate, an established firm, an established estate, they are able to manage the Omonile side of things. Now, if you're going to commit to this kind of thing, you need to run a thorough search. The search is going to tell you if government has future plans, because there is already a plan for Lagos, for every square inch of Lagos state. So you can check if this land that I want to take a gamble on, is it in government's plans for maybe a college or an institution or a hospital? Is the government having plans of building a road on this land? So the outcome of that search can give some people confidence to go on. If the outcome of the search says this land is free from government acquisition, that government has no plans, and you buy it, you have minimal peace of mind, because government's plans can change tomorrow. But if it says outrightly that it is government assigned, that it has been assigned for a project, a government project, even though the project takes 100 years to come to be, if you go ahead, when government is ready to execute that project, you are on your own. No matter what you've erected on it, no matter how mighty the structure is.
Oh,
It can take government 200 years.
are you kidding?
But when they are ready to use that land, they have every right to. And they will do that. They will use it.
Wow. Okay. So in essence, you are telling us that we should not even think about if it doesn't have excision, we should not think about it. But you
Not
know,
in today's Lagos.
but there are sometimes, don't you, do you think that there are sometimes that they would give excision and then all of a sudden they said, okay, we'll withdraw our excision? Are there cases like that?
So Lagos, there have been instances of people having their titles. It's not usually withdrawn. So what can happen is it's going to be a plea. Like government has to come to you and negotiate with you.
Okay.
Because you have the land is now yours. They no longer have any claim to that land.
Okay.
So they come to you. Sometimes they will offer you double the size of your land, or times 3 the size of your land. They will use something to, compensate, make the new deal attractive for you to say, okay, yes. Okay. So in that case, they are the ones coming cap in hand to say, please, we would like to use your land.
Okay. Okay.
And they will try and compensate you for it.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Guys, if you have questions, please just drop them in the comment section. Taiwo will be more than happy to answer your questions. Even me, I'm learning in this real estate business. Okay. So, but I hear a lot about the different titles. Maybe this is a good point to tell us about the different titles that we should be aware of. Because I know that it does with excision, there are some other ones, CFO, because when I was growing up, what my father taught me is when you're buying land, they will ask you, where is your CFO? So now that you're talking about excision, man, I don't know what excision is. I only know about CFO.
Okay. So at some point, I think in 1978 or so, mm-hmm. the laws regarding land and everything in Lagos State were enacted. So the law says that by default, all land is the government's. So government can pick what portions they need for what projects to benefit the populace. So government will have roads, they will have land for roads, they will have lands to build their offices, to build the institutions, So that was why all land ownership defaulted to governments, except for the ones that could establish some families and, some owners could establish traditional claims to their lands in that year. They brought their documents and they were given deeds of conveyances. So they secured their lands at that point. And then the C of O law was passed. Okay. So from that year till now, because by default the land has become the government has to now express to communities, because there are indigent communities everywhere. There are no lands that are just sitting fallow, unused. They have ownership, traditional ownership dating back. So government now has to recognize that this community, they are the owners of this expanse. So this government tells them, I need only this amount. You have everything else to do with as you please. Okay. So that is what an excision is. That expression, that documentation of government's intent or disinterest, that is the excision. So government tells them by a documentation, there's a process for it, you apply for it and it is approved and all that. If the land is not needed by government, they approve that excision and you have every right to start dealing and trading in that land. Then from excision, you can go ahead and have a gazette. A gazette is a publication that is issued in government circles. So once that expression of disinterest by government is done in a document, is written in a gazette, is published in a gazette. So that is when you now have the new title of gazette under your land, under your property. From that gazette, you can go ahead and apply for a certificate of occupancy. Okay. So the certificate of occupancy can cover a massive expanse as well. But when each individual now comes to take possession, like, I can't use all of this land, come and buy Mr. A, I'll sell to you Mr. B. Mr. A and Mr. B will no longer be able to apply for C of O's, because every square inch of land can only have one C of O. So what happens? Mr. A would have to now take the C of O, that the seller has and take it to the government along with the agreement between himself and the seller. That agreement is called the deed of assignment, because with that deed of assignment, the seller assigns the portion that Mr. A is interested in, assigns it to Mr. A. So you take that deed of assignment to the governor, and the governor appends the signature that I am aware of this exchange of this portion of land between the seller and, let's say the seller is Oluwalonile. So Oluwalonile has sold 1 square meter to Mr. to Mr. A.
Right.
And from that moment, Mr. A now has a governor's consent on his own square inch, on his own portion. He now has a governor's consent that puts the title of that land in his name.
Okay.
And that is the ultimate title.
Okay, so the government consent is the ultimate title. Wow.
Yes.
Which means that lands that, I can imagine that lands that have this governor's consent are way more expensive than something with just.
Oh, yes. A lot more expensive, because they give you confidence. You are sure that your funds, there is no risk of you losing your money because of title issues.
Yeah, but
you have that confidence.
That, okay, with CFO, I'm good. So you're not telling that with CFO, even with CFO, go sure.
And with CFO, you're good.
Okay.
With CFO, you're good. But if the CFO is not in your name, then you're not good. So let's say Mr. A, let's say Mr. Oluwalonile grows old to 100 years old and he dies at a ripe old age. And his children inherit that massive expanse. Let's say he has 100,000 square meters. And his children start to sell the land. You know that the land has C of O. So they sell to Mr. B, C, and D. And it now turns out that because these children were not, the communication between them was not smooth enough, somebody had duplicated a sale. So who will now own the land? So in that instance, it is whoever gets. So that can happen. So what happens is whoever gets to go and do the governor's consent first, because the governor's consent is the government recognizing that transfer of land to you. So whoever is able to tender his governor's consent title is the owner. So you see why the governor's consent is the ultimate, because that is the only way a subsequent title can come upon a C of O land.
Wow. Thank you very much. That's so insightful. Somebody was asking on the YouTube saying, how can one avoid issues of multiple ownership on a land? I think you just spoke about it. Maybe you want to paraphrase again for the question. All of us, guys, please open your
So these things happen. That's the honest truth. And that is why I obsess over titles. They happen either, but most times it's always an intentional act of fraud, of fraudulent behavior. So what you can do as a buyer is you can do after you have done your search with the government, go the extra mile to check with the neighborhood. If you're buying from a family, the family has been in the community for the longest time. Definitely the Bale is familiar with who, you understand, who is in charge of the land. So in a family of 50 people, the family has to appoint people that have the authority to sell. So the family has to appoint that. Then if there's a will, that makes things a bit easier. So the person selling to you must establish their authority to sell, basically. The person selling to you must establish it either by showing the will or by showing that is the executioner of the estate, or by you going to the community and confirming with the Bale that, sir, we're interested in this land, though. We know that you are the chief, you know the families and everything. Can you confirm to us who is in charge of this? So the family members, all the Olori Ebis in Yoruba land, they're called family heads. They all have to come together and show you that this is indeed the person. So it is in that case, in that instance, that you see videos of land transactions. It is because that is creating a document, a trail of how you established this person's authority to sell. Because the court will ask you, why did you give him the money when you do not know that he has any right to sell that land to you? So there are some ground root checks you need to do, especially if you're buying bulk purchase, if you're doing a bulk purchase of land, do the groundwork. Find out who has the authority to sell. Find out if there is a, there are so many documents they can give to you to establish it. You shouldn't do the work. Don't do this alone. Do it with a legal person that understands all the documents. So even when they give you a document, your lawyer is able to interpret the document and is able to establish that indeed the person who has given this document has the authority to sell.
Okay. So you're saying that we should not only rely on the realtor alone, but also...
No, you don't. You don't.
Also pay.
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
So after the realtor has given you an offer, you have the homework. So you have your homework to do. You do your search at the government offices in Alausa. You go and verify whose name is on the land. If there's a mortgage, it should reflect there in Alausa. Whatever is on the land, you have to establish it. So it's when your lawyer says there are no encumbrances. That means there is nothing stopping the sale of that land. And now you know that you're buying from a family. You now have to go to the community and establish that indeed these are the Olori Ebis. Because a rogue son of the family can choose to sell off everything. In fact, elders of the family can go rogue, but usually they want to walk it alone. So they will not carry other elders along. So it's when you now have, usually they have like 5 signatories. When you're able to assemble all 5, sometimes they can have up to 5. When you're able to assemble all 5 and nobody is trying to shy away, that's when you know that, okay, they are showing their faces boldly. There is nothing wrong with this land. But when you're trying to assemble 5 signatories and one person is always not available, check very well.
It's fire in the mountain.
You need to,
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Taiwo. You brought so much insight into this topic. So,
you're welcome.
So someone is asking, so what happens? The person asked on YouTube, I just copied on Zoom. The person said, so what happens if you buy a land before the excision and the government comes after? Would they pay the owner? So you're buying a land without...
No.
Okay.
No. If they are merciful to you and pay you, maybe it is because they look at what you have erected, like maybe you have a huge structure and they give you a fraction of the cost of your construction. That's all. That is if you are lucky. In most instances, they don't bother. They just bulldoze everything and move on.
So guys, please,
people live for years. People live for years on these lands. There are shanties in so many states, in Abuja, in Lagos. There are communities that you just notice that people are not building solid structures here. That's where you should begin to wonder. They know. So they always know that their presence on that land is, it's not going to be forever. They know that when they say, oh yeah, go, leave, they have to leave.
So that's another, I didn't actually think about it. So when you see shanties, where you see that people are not building proper structures and somebody is offering you to sell you land,
you should. Anyway, don't risk it.
It's not gonna work, man. A title, please. Okay. All right, thank you very much. That's so awesome. So guys, if you have
welcome.
Questions, just drop them. I would pick them up and then I would, give it to Taiwo so far. All right, the next question I have here, it's also about, so you said at least minimum of, so if I'm going to get a land title 2.5, it's going to be 2.5 million, like in Lagos, for example. But what if I don't have the money? How can I still be an owner?
If you don't have the money, but you have the mind, I'm sure that before you pick up your phone to speak with a realtor, you must have either a solid plan for buying the property, or you have some savings and you are thinking, let me call this lady. What can my 200,000 do? Let me ask her. You understand? So you might be coming from that perspective. So if you're coming with that approach, it's fine. Take that 200,000, save it where your hand cannot touch it. That's what I tell people. So there are so many ways into the market. Keep that money where you are also sure it can grow and where you're sure you can have access to it and you are sure you cannot lose it.
Don't invest in guys. Don't invest that money.
Not that kind of money. So you now do what?
Mhm.
You now tie your Yoruba, they will say social gotoe. You
Yeah.
tie your work boots, you tie it well. You now get to work. What work? What I usually tell people is get a realtor to coach you.
Okay.
Understand the real estate landscape. And you yourself, your dream is to buy a house. Your dream is to own a house, Abi. Then start selling. Understand the business,
Okay.
get coached, grow. And of course, if you're ready to do the work and start earning. Once you start earning, every dime that you make from this, there was a way you raised your 200,000. You are holding on to that source of income. You are holding on to that job. So you now have this realtorship that you are trusting is what will take you to the next level. So that realtorship, every couple you make from it, add it to the 200,000. Keep adding it. And as you do that, you get to see more opportunities. You see how you can start. So maybe you're able to get to 800,000. You're like, what can I do? Can I start my 3-month plan now? Can I start paying for this 2.4 million naira property with this 1 million deposit? You start seeing those opportunities. You start making those negotiations. And I think you'll be able to achieve more faster if you're already in that space. So getting yourself into that space keeps you focused on your goal of owning property. And it also arms you with the capital you need. It helps you grow the capital you need to acquire your property.
Wow. Oh, let me come and register myself.
You'll be a senior student too.
I don't mind to come and register. Please, is there a form?
We're open for coaching. We're always open to train new people, to bring new people up, because everyone has people in their network who are looking to buy. So when you train and you start selling, you make yourself, you're offering value. You're becoming a solution to your community members' problems of real estate trust, because they now know you, they understand your journey and why you are here when you're selling property, and they can trust you. So rather than them using their money to an outsider, they can trust you with it, and you can help them actualize their real estate goals. That's why I also encourage more and more people to understand the terrain and to start offering the services so that they can be the trusted voices that people can come to.
Yeah.
If we don't do it, then we'll leave the market for people that are dubious to, waste people's hard-earned monies.
Wow. Thank you so much, Taiwo. God bless you. And
Amen.
So I think the next question is about, maybe I should, getting into the game myself. We have what we call barrier of entry.
Okay.
So what do I need? What do I need to say to be coached, like to become one? You said that, okay, I should just get someone to coach me. So what else do I need? And then contact.
For me, the barrier I see here is you. You are the only one that can limit yourself.
Okay.
The only barrier I see is you, and that is, when I say you, I mean your willingness to work. You cannot be lazy, because you need to learn. You are trying to understand a new industry. So that means you need to have a keen mind. You need to be studying. You need to be learning about real estate. You need to know what's going on in the real estate space. So it is when you learn that you can help others navigate their purchases. If you are ignorant, you would not be valuable to anybody.
Okay.
So your barrier is you. As much as you're ready to learn and to put in the work, you'll be successful.
Thank you. But do I need do I need money to start selling?
Well, do you need money? Not really.
Okay. So
Not really.
I just need my contract.
Need money for data.
For data. Okay. So after money for data, I don't have to get any certificate.
Not really. No major expenses. If you're going to be spending money, 2,000, 5,000 here and there, you need to advertise as well. So advertisements, monies as you have it, and things like that.
Wow. Okay. That sounds good. And do you think I can combine it? Because, maybe I don't want to start it as a full-time person yet. Do you think I can combine it as a, side also? I don't want to say like a passive form of income. Like I will continue my 9-to-5 job, but then do you think it's like, what do you think about that?
Yes, it can be a passive source of income, in as much as you find a way to meet the needs of your clients. So your clients will need to see what they want to buy. You have to find a solution. So once there are solutions, then you have no problem. So your clients will need to see what they want to buy. You have to find a way to get them to see what they need to buy. You need to get to site, do recordings, do a thorough search of, the physical property for them, help them make their decisions. You need to help them make those decisions. So when it comes to being physically available, it is to take your client to site. It is for you to understand, to go to site yourself. It is for you to understand the neighborhood, to understand the terrain, and everything that you believe your clients would need to make a decision. You get those information. Once you can get the right information for your clients, then why not? Just find a way to get that information while you're holding on to your 9 to 5.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I also know that you transitioned, because when we met then you were not really into the game, and I think that was the same thing you did. You were
yes,
and then you had this realtor as a side thing, and then now you're now a Lagos madam.
Amen. Yeah, and it's a transition that I'm so glad I did. I'm so grateful to God for the courage to have done this. I'm glad I made this transition. It's been worth it.
Wow, I'm happy for you. So guys, if you need someone to coach you, if you need someone to put you through, I'll be happy to connect you with Taiwo. Like I said, I've known for we've been friends for more than a decade now, and she's been so awesome. She's been so awesome, and I have to say, she's been so awesome, and she's really reliable. Like I said, I'm a testimonial to what she does.
Thank you. Thank you.
The next question I have for you is that, on this call, we have a number of people in the diaspora.
Okay.
And yes, we want to buy real estate in the country where we are, but then we are also interested in real estate in Nigeria. So how can you, what would you, for people like us, who are not on ground, who are not there to check balance, who are not there to go to Alausa?
Okay.
How can you help them? Because this it's into the game of, what would you advise us? What are the things you think you would advise us to do, to look out for?
Okay.
Once defrauded.
Okay.
For fraudsters and all of that.
So what I think people should do is they should be ready before they are ready. That is, you already know you want to buy property in Lagos. Let's say you are in diaspora. If I were to relocate today, I know that in the next 2-3 years, I hope to be able to buy a property in Lagos. So that means I have to start making plans to do that today. And I do that by building a relationship with a realtor from today.
Okay.
So I gradually, I connect with a realtor, and then I start finding out, following them, getting updates from them, asking questions every now and then, showing interest in possible options. If possible, I can use their services for smaller things. Maybe I can test them with a small investment, but not necessarily testing them. I need to find a way to build that trust.
Okay.
Engage them. See, you understand? So when you've built a relationship over the years, you then have the confidence to trust this person. And of course, over the years, you would have seen, okay, is this person about selling, or are they about giving value? Are they about helping me make the best choice, or are they about making profits? Those are the things you'll be able to, because every now and then you show interest in the property. Even though the realtor would not like, oh, I hoped you would buy this. I don't like that you're not buying it, but you're getting somewhere. So by the time you now have the capital to actually commit, you have that confidence. You've worked with this realtor for years, both over the internet and one-on-one. You've connected with them. You have engaged them. You can even send people to them. Say, my brother will come and see this property. Oh, please take my lagbaja to this site. Oh, you know what you are doing. You can run a random search. Take one of their properties. Go and do a random search. Find out the outcome. If you do one search and it comes out as government property, and you do another search and it is government property, what does that tell you? That tells you to move. That's not your realtor. So take time to build a relationship with your realtor, so that when you're ready to buy, you have all confidence. You know that you can trust. You know that they have your best interest at heart. So that relationship is key. So when it now comes to time to now commit, if you're buying a house, do multiple video calls, do thorough checks, look at the streets, check the street level, compare it with the compound level, be sure that the street is, excuse me, be sure that the street is lower than the compound you are buying in, so that the flood doesn't come into your compound. Your compound is higher. You understand? Look at all of that. Look at the plastering. Look at the finishings. Look at the fittings. Everything you can check. Look at it critically. It will take multiple trips, but you are sure of what you're committing to, because you're not, the person is your eyes, and your other pair of eyes are the videos you keep making. So even after the video calls, you go back to the video and watch all over again, because some things might have escaped your notice at that time. So you do Zoom calls so that you can record and go over it again, not just WhatsApp calls that go. You're able to save the video and go over it again, rub minds with people. What's the best option? What do you think of this? Can I let go of this? Can I do my finishing myself instead? Should I ask them not to finish it and I'll do, you look at all the options, but rely heavily on video. Don't say because you're in diaspora, you cannot invest, because it's going to be your loss when you bypass that property and it gains, it actually grows in rates over time. It's not going to be funny. So you cannot say because you're in diaspora, you do not invest. Just do your thorough checks. Have a lawyer on ground. Have a realtor on ground. Those are the things that will help you.
Wow. Thank you very much. Guys, if you have questions regarding what Taiwo just talked about for people in the diaspora, just drop them in the question boxes on YouTube or here on Zoom. We'll pick it up and we'll trash it as much as possible. Okay, so the other question I have is regarding financing. I know you know about NHF. So can you tell me what NHF is? How, apart from NHF, what other financing opportunities would you advise? Or why should we be aware of NHF? What is even NHF, Sef?
NHF is the National Housing Fund for Nigeria. That's the housing solution that the government, the subsidized mortgages that government offers Nigerians. So every Nigerian is entitled to it. Once you qualify, once you've been contributing to the funds, then you qualify for that loan. So it's a mortgage from the government. It has a cap though of 15 million. That's the maximum you can get
Naira
when you apply. Yes, 15 million Naira is the maximum you can get. So for the NHF, it's a contribution, like I mentioned earlier. You need to get the government they'll do a check on the property you're buying with NHF and be sure that it meets their standards before they can disburse the funds to you. But sometimes you can get pre-approved developers whose projects have already passed through the screening with NHF. Maybe someone has gotten NHF from, maybe I'm building 10 units and one of my buyers has already gotten an NHF funding. That makes it easier for subsequent applicants to get their NHF funding, because automatically the clearance and the pre-check that the first person got would apply to everybody that buys. So there are some pre-qualified projects that you can key into if you're going through NHF. So that about NHF. You get to pay over a period of 60 years minus your present age. So if you're 30, you get to pay over a period of 30 years. If you're 40, you get paid over a period of 60 minus 40 years, that's 20 years. So the interest rate is usually 6%, which is quite fair considering our environment. That's about the lowest around us.
It's fair, I would say, because I think if you go to the banks.
Okay. So now with the banks, you can get something higher. However, the rates are also higher. With the banks, the lowest I've seen so far. So the challenge with the banks the challenges are twofold. You have the challenge of practices and you have the challenge of the interest rates. Interest rates at the bank can be very close to 20%. Like I was speaking with the Providence Bank mortgage specialist, and they're able to offer as low as 10%, but they are one of the few that can offer that kind of rate.
And it's quite like it's
very, very, yeah. So they are one of the very few. that can do that. I think Zenith does about 12%. But now, when it comes to practices, that's the second challenge. There have been instances where people have signed the contracts to take on a mortgage with a private bank, and you sign a contract on a Friday, and on a Saturday, the bank is communicating a new interest rate to you. Now, what was the contract about? If it wasn't about you were shopping for the best rate, and you thought you got the best rate, and then they come and then tell you you can't have that rate anymore. So that's the practices challenge that people are having to contend with. So, but the mortgages are there.
So how can I get? So you said but how can I get registered with? Do I need to register? What are the things apart from being a Nigerian to get qualified for NHF mortgages?
Apart from being a Nigerian, you need to actually be working in Nigeria and contributing.
Okay.
That's basically it. Once you're contributing, you pay monthly, depending on your pay slip. There is a limit.
Okay.
There is a limit that can be taken from your pay slip. Usually it's a token because you're expected to have contributed over several years.
Okay, so I pay it through my employer.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know.
So your employer takes the deduction from source with your consent, and they remit to the government.
Now I get. Okay, interesting. So guys, if you have an employer, if you are like employed with a private organization or even a government organization in Nigeria, please ask them about NHF. Get registered.
Yes, please do.
Because at the end of the day, imagine if you need like 30 million naira, or let me say 50 million naira to get a house, right? And then you're able to secure 15 million out of that loan, like 30% of it already from the government at a lower interest rate. So you can confidently go to a private bank to get balance, and you're not really totally depending on the private bank to provide you the total loan, because the higher the loan, the more
the higher the interest.
Yeah, the more risk they are carrying, and then of course they would play with their interest more. So, but if you have more questions about, I think that we could say more about NHF, but I think I will stop here because I have one or two more questions. If you have more questions about NHF, you can chat me up, and then I can also connect you with Taiwo, and then she would be able to give you some guidance on that. But guys, NHF is really good. Yeah. And because what I knew about NHF while I was working in Nigeria, because then one of my boss at a house back then, I think he got it in Ogba or something, and then he said he got it with the funding from NHF. I was green then, I was new to the corporate world in Nigeria, and he said, this is how you do it. So, and since then I've been aware of it. So if you're wondering, is it real? Is it possible, for a common man in Nigeria to get it? Of course it's possible, guys. So
it is.
No, don't lose total hope on Nigeria. And NHF still happens.
Okay.
Help you with your funds in terms of getting a house. All right, so we have two questions here from YouTube. Says, would you encourage someone in diaspora authorizing a friend or family member to sign on his or her behalf while buying lands? And if yes, what are the risks involved? Or if no, what are the risks involved?
Is there a real need for someone else to sign on your behalf, though?
Maybe you're not,
because
you're not, that you are not there at that point when they want to hand over the document.
There are documentations, there are things you can use. There are some software, and there are some applications that enable, I think Adobe does it. PDF, you can sign on a PDF, can't you? So just have the documents sent to you, scanned over to you, go over them, and then append your signature and scan back.
So don't try.
There is no real need to take the risk.
Okay.
I don't think there's a real need to.
Their question asker. Did you hear the answer? They said the world is now really advanced that nobody has to sign your document for you. Just people to send you the document, let them scan it. You get it on Adobe. You could actually, edit it yourself and append your signature, or you print it out, sign with pen, do another scanning, and send back.
Yes, it goes.
Don't do it. Because there is a lot of stories about people, even family members, Just there was a day I saw a video about a guy who had been sending money home to his family members to build a bungalow for him or for him.
Okay.
Back. So, and then they've been sending in pictures of what they built. But eventually, when he came back, there was nothing. The guy almost, the video went viral. The guy almost had, some electrical shock in his head because it could not.
That's really sad.
Because it was his hard sweat.
Yes, for so many years.
So don't even.
But there were videos. Did you not observe the inconsistencies?
I don't know. So guys, don't even think about it. Get this document sent to you. If they're telling you they cannot send the document, then you should know that there's something fishy. That's I think. So somebody's asking, I think this is a question regarding when you said, okay, get into the game if you don't have the money yet. So, okay, so as a seller, how can one get the right clients to buy? It seems to be frustrating locating the right people to buy such huge purchase. What would you say? So I think this is from someone who is really interested in, they don't have the funds, but they're interested in owning real estate. And you advise, okay, you know what, save whatever you have now, but then get into the game, start selling, So now I've been coached. So how do I get clients? This is what the person is asking.
Okay. All right. So if you're going to be getting clients, it will be because your clients are getting value from you. So you have to ask yourself first, have I been able to offer any value so far? Why should anybody? So sometimes I would ask myself, if I was me, would I buy from me? Have I been able to convince myself to buy from me? So ask yourself, why have you given these people any reason to buy from you? Have you given them any reason to buy that particular property you need a buyer for? So those are two questions. Because when people are investing in anything, they are first of all investing in the person that they are engaging with. Then the business or the property comes, so the property and the business is secondary. It is the person that is primary. So those are the things we would be able to trash during coaching. You need to, be buyable yourself.
Okay.
That's it. You need to be buyable yourself.
Okay. Thank you very much. So they said, guys, go and get Bible. Okay. Yeah. So another question that came was that we hear a lot. So can you explain to us what are the different home types? Bungalow, duplex, detached. Which one is which one? Because people just throw around different lingo, and some of us don't know. So I know what is that the one that doesn't have options, right? And then then I think there are different kind of duplex, there are different kind of things. So what do you say to that?
Okay, so the bungalows are flat structures that have just one level. Just one level. No stairs taking you anywhere. Then you have duplexes. Duplexes are one single family unit, a home that is on 2 levels, sometimes on 3 levels now, but that is occupied by one family unit. So that's a duplex. Sometimes these duplexes are built in pairs, in sets of 2, right wing and left wing. So one block will be housing 2 families, 2 duplexes. So such structures are called semi-detached, semi-detached duplexes. Now, you can also consider this scenario where these duplexes exist in more than pairs. So let's say you add a third one, and then you add a fourth. In fact, from the moment you add the third one, the whole block has become a terrace.
Mm-hmm.
So those homes are called, they're no longer just duplexes. They are terrace duplexes or terraces. Mm-hmm. In Europe, they are called townhouses. Mm-hmm. So they are multifamily. So now that block is housing 3 families or more. Mm. But the structures are on more than one level. Once it is on more than a single level, then it's a duplex. Mm. Okay. So that is the townhouse. That's the duplex, the semi-detached duplexes, and the townhouses. That's the way they are. So a block of townhouses can have like 10 terraces, can have 10 duplexes in there. That single block can have 5 duplexes, can have 4 duplexes. Once it's more than 2, it's a terrace building. So it has townhousing units, that's the way they are. Then we now have...
Go ahead. I would ask the question.
Okay. So we now have the apartment blocks. Okay. So these apartments, I think in New York, some of them are referred to as condos. Yeah. So these are blocks of apartments. A single block can house 10, 15, 17 apartments. Mm-hmm. Each apartment is on a single level usually, mm-hmm. but in some cases, even an apartment in that block can be on 2 levels, like we have in 1004. Mm-hmm. So when you have them on 2 levels, mm-hmm. that apartment is then called a maisonette. Okay. So it is no longer a flat, mm-hmm. because your apartment is in a block of apartments. Mm-hmm. However, it is not just one level. Mm-hmm. All of your rooms are not on one floor. Okay. Within your flat, you still use the stairs to get to other parts of your apartment. So those are called maisonettes. Mm-hmm. While the single floor apartments, the single floor homes, mm-hmm. the homes with 1 level, they are called flats. Mm. Okay. So that's that.
Wow. Thank you very much. So another question, guys, if you have questions, we'll round up soon. But one more question I have is, we talked about financing and all of that. So apart from mortgage and apart from using my own, my own investment, my own savings to invest, what other ways can I, source for funds, or that you've seen that people source for funds to invest in real estate?
To buy real estate.
Yes.
Some people explore loans. I don't encourage loans.
Okay.
And why don't I encourage loans? Because real estate is not a very liquid asset. Mm. Real estate investment is a very solid asset. So if you need to liquidate today and pay back a loan, so that you can avoid interest, it's not something you can throw up and get cash. Mm-hmm. It takes time. Mm-hmm. In that time that you're waiting to sell, you are accruing interest. Yeah. So I don't encourage loans, but I can encourage collaborations. People come together to build homes. People come together to build mini estates. Friends from Tipetskpe, myself and Buki can decide now. I've known Buki from, now. So I can say, yes, I know Buki can manage our funds. I can say, let's build these kinds of homes, or I know what will profit us. Yes. You understand? So sometimes some people even have funds. They don't have the architectural know-how. They don't have the engineering know-how. Those are things that bring people together. So that way, I fund my dream. Mm-hmm. You understand? And you are able to put your capital to good use, because you've been dreaming of building something fantastic with that money all this while. Yeah. So people do that as well. They partner with one another.
Okay, so guys, find your network is powerful. Don't just build friends because you want to chicken and talk in their house and you be talking UEFA football Champions League. Build friends that that you can wake up tomorrow and then invest with them together, buying a house together or buying a plot of land together, splitting it. And for example, imagine you and there's a plot of land, like a 600 square meters, and you don't have the full money to buy that 600 square meters. But then you have a friend that will be interested also in buying. You can put the money together, buy the 600 square meters, build a semi-detached, 2 semi-detached.
Yes.
You have a house. So you have UEFA and drinking and eating chicken and talking and say, hey, how are you? And just chatting on WhatsApp. But also, exchanging value with people around you. Thank you so much. Hi,
You're welcome.
I've learned so much from you today. I'm really grateful. So can you tell us, I know you offer some products. So just tell us about some of the products you you offer, and then we can call it a wrap from there. So maybe we don't.
Okay.
I would come and register again with you and buy products.
You're welcome. I can't wait to have you come and register. So we have lands because of people that like to build to taste. Some people like to build to their. It's very hard for you to find a home that is built to your own taste. You have preferences that the other person does not have. So we sell lands for people that prefer to build for themselves. The lowest priced land in our portfolio right now at Delazon Realty is that land I referred to that is going for 2.4 million for 400 meters. It is in Ibejuleki, very close to La Campagne. You know where we have La Campagne Tropicana? One of the oldest resorts that we have in Lagos. So it's in Ibejuleki. And what makes that place really interesting is all the development coming there. An airport is coming there. The 4th Mainland Bridge will make access to that place super easy. And I heard that government is now accepting bids for the 4th Mainland Bridge construction. So all of those projects makes that place really, really good for investments. So there is that one. Then Dangote Refinery is there. The port is already working. So and there will be a rail line as well to connect all of that area with other parts of Africa and with other parts of Nigeria, because the coastline connects us with Ilaje, Ondo State. So it gives you access, to so many parts of Nigeria that you didn't think of before. So that makes that property very good. It's a very good buy for you to buy and keep and wait for the developments to come. Then we also have golf course. We have this estate that promises a golf course. Right now, that estate is bubbling because already they have the basketball court in place, the lawn tennis court is in place. The developer has apartments. They've already built their own apartments. So if you are buying land with them, that you have neighbors. You're not buying in a remote place. So that makes that place really, really fantastic. That's the golf estate. And, golf is exclusive. So, you begin to have bragging rights.
How much does that go for? I can also dream of buying one.
So that one is going for 13.5 for 500 square meters.
Just plot of land, or what is going for 13?
It's just the plot of land, though. You won't believe that land sold for 3.5 as at 2019-ish.
It's a lie.
I'm telling you, the price went up when the governor's consent came out. You saw what we were talking about, titles. So the people that bought at that price are now enjoying 10 million naira gain in, So, but it's always a step of faith.
Yeah. That's like how many % increase?
That's like 300, I think.
What?
So it happens. It happens. So, but it's still a very, very good buy, even today. Then there are apartments there. Like I mentioned, there are apartments already for sale there. 1 bedroom for 14 million, 2 bedroom for 20, 3 bedroom for 25. So you can choose to invest in an apartment and spread your payments for both the land and the apartments. You get to pay over 12 months. Just do a deposit of 4 million naira and you spread your balance over the next 12 months. So that is for that option. Then facing the Lekki Expressway, we have some very good plots just a minute from Eleko Junction. Eleko Junction is the road that connects us with Dangote Refinery and all of that side. So on that road, there is a beautiful estate there, Morganite. It's selling for 11 million as well. Fantastic estate. Now, it is being sold as a government allocated project. So government has allocated that land to developers that this is our plan for this land. We want to build housing estates. You are a developer. Help us to execute.
Okay.
So it is a safe buy because it is a government allocated land. Government has allocated it to the developers to, go ahead and build residential residential projects there. So the developer is the one that is building that community for people, and it's a well-planned place. Fantastic place, fantastic. Very overlooking the express, no traffic headaches, nothing. So that's another very good one. And very close to Adekunle Junction in Yaba, the end of 3rd Mainland Bridge, we have apartments there. Okay. You can get 2-bedroom flats for 22 million.
2 million, not bad.
22 million.
Okay. Wow.
So you do a 20% deposit. That is about 4.8, 4.4, and then you spread the balance over the next 1 year.
Okay. Wow.
Yes. So that's what we have in Yaba. There are also 4-bedroom masonettes available there as well for people that want bigger homes.
So guys, and then if you're
so I could go on. I hope I'm not boring you yet.
I don't think so. So guys, if you think you don't have the money now to buy these things, but you want to own it at some point, you can contact Taiwo. She's going to drop her contact, and then you also try to sell it, and then you never know, she would give you what's it called, commission. I'm sure she will give you commission on.
Yes, definitely.
95. You just have to do it aside. Wow. Because I think some people have like grounds to no, it's water and all of the water issues. So mainland is also a good idea for some people.
Option.
Yeah, but get easy access to the island and back, and you don't have to deal with so much traffic.
That's the beauty of Yaba. Yes.
Wow. Awesome. Thank you very much, Taiwo. I'm really grateful.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's been fun.
We're asking you if you want to drop your contacts for the guys on Zoom. You can drop your contacts for them.
Okay. So I'm going to do that now.
They can reach out to you.
No problem.
He's asking Parisa. So Parisa, she answered the question about the document that you could use electronic signatures. I think the DocuSign. DocuSign is a platform that you can use to sign documents electronically, and also maybe, like I said, you could do it like in a very manual way. Tell them to scan the document to you, print it out, sign it with your pen and your paper, scan it back, and send it to them. But don't leave other people to sign your document for you. Don't do it. And then the other question was about so apart from Lagos, what other states do you think makes sense to invest in now?
Okay, so I don't do a lot of outside Lagos offers. Every once in a while we have people that want to sell properties in other parts of the country, they reach out. So, but principally our focus is on Lagos properties.
Okay.
I have a brief for Port Harcourt, but that's just one. So my focus is usually on Lagos state properties and more of Lekki Epe and inner Lagos, those central parts of Lagos like Yaba, Surulere, Lekki. Those are the areas I focus on because you cannot be everywhere. And it requires you to be physically present on site. So you can't cover everywhere. So you sometimes want to focus resources on certain locations so you're more effective as a realtor.
Okay. Thank you very much. Taiwo, your camera is off, although we're almost done.
Oh, really?
Yes. So, but then...
Okay, so sorry. I didn't realize that. Okay,
but if we need help with other states, can we still contact her? Maybe like you have people in the industry who have competence or who have access to other states. Can we contact you to link us to those people, or it's only for Lagos that?
Okay, so what I can do is to, like you said, connect you with other people with competencies in other locations and other states. However, I will not be able to vouch for your experience with any one of them, as I can only vouch for your experience with me. So I can do that. I can connect you with the people I have in other areas. That's not going to be a challenge at all. Yes, I can always do.
Okay. So I think, and then you've already spoken about, like per plot and all of that, how much it costs. You said minimum would be like with the minimum title, which is excision, is like 2.4 million naira.
Yes, land with the minimum title. It's going for 2.4 million. That's today. Oh, tomorrow now you'll be hearing it has gone up. Those prices don't stay steady.
Like the one, like the golf one she's talked about. So don't sleep on it. Just put.
Don't sleep on it. You take action sharp.
You can do. She also said that you can do split payments. So also try to do that before you know it. You split everything up, and then you are a landowner at least. All right.
Yes. So
towards Taiwo before we round up, because I think yeah. Any other thing you want to tell our viewers, our friends at home?
Okay, so now, like you said everything, you said it all. Don't snooze on it. Don't wait to buy real estate. That's something. Don't wait to buy. It never pays to wait. The only consolation that we wait with is, oh, me that I cannot buy for 3.5. God can do it and I will buy with 13.5. We say that a lot. That, that maybe it's 100 million, 1 million I want to buy. Why are you taking that chance? Why are you gambling? If you have something to start with now, get started with what you have and buy what you can afford today, rather than wait for several years. Key into what you can today. The money that you'll be surprised that the money that you are reluctant to spend today, you would still make if you invest it today. Let's say you raise 800K or you raise that 2.4 and you invest it today. Between today and next year, you'll be surprised that another 2.4 will materialize. But if you don't invest it, you will spend it, and you will not, by next year, you will not be able to show another 2.4 because you are just used to spending. It's good to live. The boy is good, though, but sometimes be good to yourself. Remember to pay your future self. When you invest in real estate, you're actually putting aside your salary for when you start growing gray hair. Let it not be that the reason you won't have a good life in your old age is because you don't have money. Money should not be the reason you don't have a very good life when you're retired. No. So you should prepare for it from today. That's the important thing.
All right. Thank you so much. In the personal finance world, we would always say, pay yourself first. Always pay yourself first. Before you pay any other person, okay, yeah, of course, pay God. Like, I don't mean pay God, I mean pay your tithe, pay your tithe. But then after paying your tithe, you are your number one priority. Pay yourself first. Don't let it be that money will come to you. Any money that will come to you, don't let it be that everything would seep out. And I don't want to hear, I'm always giving it out. Family, problem when they finish.
They finish. That's the truth.
I will leave you with that. Just think about it. Problems doesn't finish. Okay? Pay yourself first. Whatever comes to your hand, make sure you're paying yourself first. And I think I would end it there today. Thank you so much for everyone that joined. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Today, Taiwo has dropped a contact on the Zoom chat. Please copy it and then reach out to her. She'll be able to help you. Like I said, I've worked with her before, so I know her for like more than a decade. And she's been of help for me, not just for me, for some other people that I know that she helped them to get properties. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
So, yeah. So thank you very much. Have a nice Friday. It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. So have a nice weekend. Enjoy.
Yeah, let's go and groove.
Have fun. All right, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Thank you. Good night.